Hello and welcome to Warframe. My name is Todd, also known as Major Mech, and this is of course Warframe. Last time we completed the Ceres Junction, or forgive me, we completed the Phobos Junction, and we went, and now we've unlocked Phobos, so we're going to go across Phobos to the Void, and we're also going to destroy the Sergeant, wherever he is on Phobos. But we also have something in our foundry that we just finished, which we need to pick up, because it will unlock some missions for us. So we finished our Archwing, our Ondata, our Odonata? That's how you pronounce that, I'm pretty sure. Odonata.
Congratulations, you've crafted an Archwing. Now I must commence calibration. So much to do. By my calculations, this process will take 372 hours. Oh, that does seem like a long time.
Tenno, this is an urgent mission. A Corpus scout ship with information about the location of the Grineer Baelor Fomorians has been located. Raid this ship for intel. We need to know everything they do.
Alright, so now we're introduced to the Baelor Fomorians. We will raid one here in just a second, but I did just realize that I forgot to explain one thing that happened. At the time of this recording, an event is going on, which I will explain, but I will not participate in, at least not for the moment, just because we aren't really at the point where we can really deal with it, that is. Which is, we can take down the Stalker's Acolytes. So the Acolytes is an event that doesn't happen all that often. It's similar to other time-based events. Kind of the digital extremes, as the developer, kind of decides when these events happen, and just goes forward with them. So if you logged in during this event, you'll see a screen similar to this one here, which details the Acolytes and where they are currently. The Acolytes, you notice, have health bars. So as the Acolytes appear, you can find out where they are by just doing missions, or you can wait until someone else finds them and then they will appear as they are here. So Violence, for instance, is on Cinzia on Ceres. So we could effectively go do Violence. I think we could actually just jump into it, but I'm not going to do that. This could be a potential way that you could actually just progress forward in the star map without doing the junctions. But again, you will have to unlock the junctions at some point. It's kind of better to go through them in order. The Stalker's Acolytes are effectively just enemies with abilities of Warframes and of the Stalker himself. They drop very, very rare and valuable mods, which, if you do not have any idea what I'm referring to, the mods, of course, are things similar to what we put on our Warframe and our weapons, but the ones that the Acolytes drop you can only get from the Acolytes, and they are very, very good mods. Some of them, in specific, certain ones can sell for ridiculous amounts of platinum if the person is willing to buy them. I know for a fact that Torment and Mania have some of the best mods, actually, that you can get from the Acolytes. And then there's some other ones as well. I think there's some that even critical to certain builds, but that's effectively the main thing you would do. Is you would go into the mission that is showing, and you would complete it. And as you complete it, more than likely the Acolyte would appear the same way the Stalker does. You would defeat them, they would drop the mod, and then you would complete the mission to get the mod. You saw previously that Mania had location unknown. That means that at that current time, no one knew where he was, or she was, and now they found him on Narcissus, Pluto. So effectively the way the Acolytes are found is just by doing random missions, and once they're found by one person, it shows them on the map for a amount of time, like about a couple minutes, I want to say. So you want to jump in and do that mission with the person that you're trying to, or with the Acolyte that you're trying to get the mod from, beat the Acolyte, finish the mission, and there you go. You've got some very nice, very powerful mods at your disposal. But we will not be doing any of that at this time, just because really we aren't ready for it. Warframe and our weapons just really aren't up to par to be able to handle that, but we might, if we ever see the Acolyte event in the future, we might do it. But at the moment, we will not be doing that. We will, however, be going forward with the Archwing mission, because that is more critical to progressing the story forward. Alright, so jumping into it, Archwing combat is something we have not seen yet. And I don't know, do we jump straight into it? I don't think we do. I think we have to complete a standard mission beforehand. Yeah. Alright, so we have to complete a standard mission before we actually jump straight into Archwing combat.
For too long, the Corpus have extorted the Grenier. Thrown back. Consider our contracts cancelled. This is a hostile takeover.
Not wise, counselor. I was hoping the Tenno had taught you a little humility when they destroyed your precious Fomorian fleet.
Did you really believe the Tenno destroyed all my Fomorians?
We have a problem. There is something breaking from the void.
Baylor, your fate, my future!
Impossible. All units, full alert. Prepare for boarding.
This ship is disintegrating. Aborting mission. Get to extraction.
So with everything that's
Sorry,
happening,
ship integrity will not permit extraction at this time.
You only have one chance. Ordis, deploy Archwing.
But my calibrations, it's not...
Ordis, do it now.
Okay. Deploying Archwing.
They spotted you. Tenno, you need to get to the other side of this debris field where Ordis can safely extract you.
so welcome to Archwing combat. Bet you didn't think we were going to jump straight into this. We're also being confronted by a Baylor Fomorian, which is not great. If it shoots us, we will die.
Stay out of the line of fire.
Yeah, pretty much what Lotus is stating. You're going to want to stay behind some of the junk in the way. The Baylor Fomorian is over where that red laser can be seen. We do not want to be hit by
Get
it.
to cover. The Fomorian's guns will obliterate you.
Effectively, same as Lotus is saying, it will just completely destroy us. Archwing
You're almost through the debris field. Just a little bit further.
Archwing movement is pretty much as you'd expect it. You can move in all,
Incoming
directions.
fire from the Fomorian.
Same way
Find
a jet
cover.
would. I will make comments about more about how this kind of movement works.
Find cover
you're
now.
effectively you're aiming, and your attack is the same way. You aim down sights with pretty much the same way you would as you're moving around as a Warframe. Your basic movement keys move you in 4 directions. Oh, we're gonna want to pop that up. You do have abilities. You do have abilities the same way your Warframe has. Currently we only have our shield, which is useful for destroying projectiles coming at us. So we're going to use a little bit of that. We're also going to be taking out a lot of these enemies here. Shield Dagrins, of course, can't shoot them from the front. You do have melee, so you can swing your melee the same way you'd expect by pressing your melee button, which for me is Q. Space combat is not super difficult, but it can be quite disorienting if you're not really familiar with the idea of it. Let's get past here. Alright.
Don't let them hit your Warframe.
The most important thing,
You're stuck in here until you take out that Zeppelin.
The most important thing here is not getting hit by that Fomorian, which will destroy you. There are energy nets, which the Zeppelins create. You destroy the Zeppelin, you can get out.
Get going.
In Archwing mode, to go up, you press the space bar. To go down, you press crouch, I'm pretty sure. If I'm not mistaken there. Or you could just face down and press forward. So you move kind of, I want to say a little, very similarly to a tank, but it's not exactly that way. There is sprinting, of course, and as you can see, this would be the standard movement without sprinting. This is movement with sprinting. But you also have a way to boost your movement speed while sprinting by pressing the space bar or jump. And that kind of creates effectively a boost, which will allow you to go forward faster. My big thing is I'm just trying to stay away from that Fomorian because it is a one-shot kill against you, so you want to stay away from him. Which the Fomorian is the very large spaceship in the background there. Alright. We're going to want to just avoid pretty much most of these enemies and get our way out of this place. While trying to stay behind small meteors and ship debris to get out of here. Oh, of course the waypoint has to move. So your first ability is your shield, which is very good at
Archwing is performing beyond expectations. I suppose my calibration process was not necessary after all.
very good at dealing with enemy fire and also enemy projectiles, but it doesn't last forever, of course. Your basic weapon is a fully automatic Imperator, which is a pretty good weapon. Overall, it's definitely not the best Archwing weapon in the game.
Stay out of the line of fire.
And you probably will want to get an upgrade as soon as you're able to, but that'll take some time. The best way to deal with the shield Dagrons is definitely with a quick melee attack, because their shields are very annoying. But you might have noticed that as I'm using my weapon, my ammo regenerates over time, and that's how all Archwing weapons function.
Find cover.
There is still ammo pickups, but you do not need them, which is quite good, because if you needed ammo pickups while flying around, that'd be a real pain in the butt. So it just works on a regeneration-based system, which is far more effective for what we're dealing with here. No, we want to stay away from being out in the open, because again, that Fomorian will just destroy us.
Just a little bit further.
Alright, one last Zeppelin, I think, and then we'll be through. Come on, boom. Alright.
Find cover now.
So there's lots of little intricacies to Archwing combat. The big thing that you need to know is that a lot of the time you'll be focusing on how fast you're going, and being able to sprint and then boost effectively like that is probably the best thing you can do. Oh! So that was the Fomorian's attack. We must have gotten just slightly out of in the open.
Just a little bit further.
And then it just completely obliterated us. First time I went through this, that Fomorian obliterated me like 3 or 4 times. Real pain in the butt.
Can you extract mission complete? Tenno, stand by for pickup.
Kind of cut off there, but Lotus was just talking about how we need to extract. So the Ondata, the Imperator, and the Veritux, which was our basic Archwing, and pretty much the very first ones, the Archwing that you'll get, plus the weapon and melee weapon, are all good enough to get through the content.
Tools to take on Vahek and his Balor Fomorians. His arsenal is growing, but so will ours. There are more Archwing designs and more weapons. Together we will take to the skies and confront this new threat.
Alright, so the Archwing was originally introduced as a part of the Balor Fomorian event, which is why there was comments about how the Tenno destroyed the Balor Fomorians and then kind of didn't destroy them. Let's see, we don't have any invasions at the moment, But when we unlock invasions or see some
You
invasions,
have new quests in your codex.
you will notice that you can see that there's a timer for Baylor Fomorians. So Baylor Fomorians will show up every now and then and attempt to destroy relays, which is a shame, but it also gets us some good rewards if we're able to destroy them, or at the very least do some good damage. Now,
Operator, did you hear that? It
to
said,
access your Archwing, you go into your
"Cosmic
arsenal,
background radiation is a riot."
and you hit select mode, you go to your Archwing, and this is where you can access all the functions of your Archwing. There are effectively 4 Archwings in total and 1 Prime Archwing. The Odonata does have a primed version, but the main Archwing that most people will use will be the Itzal, because it has a very, very useful ability to teleport you forward, which makes it very fast. So if you were going to start working with Archwings and start working forward with Archwings, the big one that I would try and get first of all would be the Itzal and learn how to use it. It is very similar to a rogue style Archwing. You have the ability to go invisible, you can summon drones, you can teleport forward, very useful. The Ondata is probably the second best that I would think out of all 4 of them. The Elytron and Amisha are not super great. The Elytron is a slow, heavy-hitting Archwing, which isn't very effective since Archwings are kind of supposed to be quick and agile. The Amisha is effective, but it's a healer Archwing, and its speed does not compare to the Itzal, so yeah, pretty much. But if you just want a basic all-rounder and you kind of don't really want to worry about Archwing, the Ondata is a good choice. Let's see, can we copy Warframe colors? Yeah, we'll go with Warframe colors. We got our copy Warframe colors, and we'll go copy Warframe colors. Let's switch this real quick. Oh. Go into favorites, because I think it's going to be there, but it's not.
Unexpected color combination, operator. My sensors are bleeding. Pleased.
There we go. That looks better. So that's your Archwing. You can, of course, upgrade. So that would be modding them. You can, of course, do everything you could pretty much do with your Warframe or your weapons. For weapons, for the Archwing, these are typically very hard to get because they're a part of the reputations, which I described previously. You have to complete the reputations to be able to get the parts to build Archwing weapons, and that's just a real pain in the butt overall. Moving forward, let's see, what else can we do? There was a mention that we did, when we completed the Phobos Junction, we did also get a new quest called Stolen Dreams. Let's see, what do we have to do with that? Okay, so that would unlock Maru and all the things that she can do for us. Do we want to focus on that? Let's see, what do we have time for? Completing that Archwing didn't leave us with a lot of time. I would like to work our way across Phobos, but I think we're going to have to focus on Stolen Dreams. So let's do Stolen Dreams, and after we complete Stolen Dreams, we will work our way across Phobos. So...
This is unexpected. After decades of searching, the Grineer finally uncovered the last of the arcane codices, only to lose it to some thief. Tile Regor must be livid, which means this Maru is in real trouble. I need to have a word with her before the Grineer do.
Arcane codices? Why have I never heard of them? Ordis needs to do some research.
Alright, so I just changed up our mod on our boulder because I realized we've gotten enough experience on it to do that, and now we're going to work towards capturing Maru. The arcane codices I don't think really come into play all that often. The major thing with Maru is the services that she will provide for us later. But not at the moment. Gotta capture her first. You know, I just realized making the whole thing about the services that she'll provide us later is really dirty
I
sounding.
have tracked Maru to this Corpus outpost. Bring her to me for questioning. Be as persuasive as necessary. She may not want to come with us, but it's in her best interest.
So, I think this is just a basic capture mission. Yeah, looks like it. But we will capture her
I am
and...
the Lotus. I come as a friend. You are in mortal danger, and you need to come with us.
So we will capture her and move forward. Come on, don't hide. Over there. There you are. Thanks to Taxon being able to slow her, she's pretty easy to capture.
Mission complete. The captain has been escorted to the extraction point. Well done.
Now we've got the electricity on our bolter here. It's actually much more effective against these Corpus, which is good because Corpus are very frequent in a lot of these quests, and very annoying because of those shields. Only thing that would be more annoying would be the Grineer and their extreme ferrite armor. Oh, I went the wrong way here. Let's go. Okay, I think we'll probably have enough time for one more mission after this, and then we will probably have to call it quits. But let's get going. Would love to talk more about Maru and the things that she does, but it really hasn't explained anything as to what the arcane codices are, or why we need them, or really anything. Also, the relay that Maru will be at once we have kind of finished this quest is here on Mars as well, so I'll probably show that off. But I doubt we will finish this quest right away, because I think it's like a 3 or 4 part quest. That is, if my memory is serving me well and not completely failing me.
Oh, so you tin suits who want to know about that arcane codex? Is that all? Okay, here goes. Tile Rhaegor offered up big-time credits for me to pull the code from some strange machine on an infested Orokin derelict. Thing is, I never much liked the Grineer, so the code I pulled ain't the code I gave them. I guess they finally figured that out. I bet you're looking to get your hands on the code. Too bad. I already sold them to the Corpus. Now, if you were to make it worth my while, maybe I'll tell you where they're keeping it.
Kind of interesting that we have to make it worth her while, as she is our prisoner, but oh well. So the relay that I was referring to is Maru's Bazaar. Later on, Maru will be found here at Maru's Bazaar. The major thing about Maru's Bazaar is it allows for player trade outside of a clan dojo, which is sometimes effective. If you don't have a clan dojo already and you want to trade with another player, you can go to Maru's Bazaar to do so. Let's just go ahead and do the next part of the quest, and we will make our way through it. But I know for a fact that this isn't the only part of the Arcane Codex that we need. At least if my memory is serving me well.
Listen up, you tin suits. With the Grineer itching to torture the life out of me, I've accepted your Lotus's offer of protection. In return, I'm gonna help your sorry behinds find that arcane codex.
My Tenno are quite capable, Maru. Perhaps you would prefer it if they dropped you off outside the nearest Grineer mining asteroid.
Wow, she always this much fun?
Maru?
Fine. Here's the business. The Corpus are keeping the codex in one of these fortified data vaults. You gotta break in and take what's yours without triggering the data destruction sequence.
Or in other words, one day to destruction and it's all over. So we gotta make sure that we do not set off the alarm
The
here.
data vault is nearby. Do your best and try not to trip the alarms.
Alright, so this vault I think is one of the more easy to deal with ones. Oh, but I might have just set off the alarm with using a loud weapon here. We're gonna see here. No way to open there. Alright, let's go here and there, and we'll open that up. We want to destroy that crewman. And any other crewman that might be around. Set off the alarm before we can hack in. Alright. So of course if you touch the green lasers you'll set off the alarm. Let's turn those off. No effective way for us to get into that room without going through here first. Alright, good to go. Let's see, sometimes they put a camera in this room, so be careful when you open the door for the first time. Let's turn this off. Thankfully, at this time, the spy missions are nowhere near that difficult. Just basic hacking. Later on, when setting off the alarm becomes much easier,
Hey,
it becomes
surprisingly
really
impressive.
annoying.
You found the codex, and the corpus are none the wiser. You got that codex. Why don't you see if the corpus are hiding anything else in the other vaults?
So, can't leave just yet. Gotta finish all the objectives. Spy is one of those missions that they try and pound in your head how to actually do it, because a lot of people don't know how to do spy at all. It's fairly simple once you get the hang of it, but it's much more easy to accomplish once you have a frame that can be turned invisible, because then it's pretty much, you know, a cakewalk, so just walk in and walk out.
Do your best and try not to trip the alarms.
The only thing that can be problematic once you're able to turn invisible is setting off the alarm from hacking, which usually isn't that big of a deal. Just basic laser tripwires, huh? We dealt with these before. Come in here, turn them off, and then we'll move forward. So now there is a camera right in that room, so we don't want to set it off. So one of the easiest ways I've found to deal with that is to go up to this panel and kind of get off to the side, and then hack it. Hopefully we're not standing in the doorway when the door opens, and then we can go around and under, destroy the camera, and we're done. Just don't get in that cone or anywhere near it, because it's very easy to set it off, and then you got to deal with a time limit.
There's the codex. There might be hope for you after all.
I think Marut says that the codex is in each of the vaults, even though, you know, first vault she said that we already had the codex, but oh well. Small plot holes. Don't matter that much. Progressing through. Okay, last one. I can hear something on the other side of this door. What is there? Oh. So this is one of the most interesting spy challenges. This is the parkour challenge. Don't touch the green lasers, of course. Should be relatively easy as you go through, and there's also one frame that can really help you deal with it. This is probably the hardest of the parkour challenges. Let's see, which way do I want to go in? I can probably go up in here. Okay, that just goes back around. What about that one up there? This one goes over. Cool. Awesome. This one goes over, and this one goes down and in. Simple as can be. Those vents are not always open though, so you may have to parkour through that little laser trap, but we're good this time. Later on,
There's the codex. There might be hope for you after all.
the frame that you can get would be...
explored all the vaults and found that arcane codex. Your Lotus told me to tell you to get to extraction.
The frame that you can get that makes spy missions completely and utterly ridiculously easy is Loki. He makes a lot of other things kind of trivial as well, but spy is definitely the one that he makes absolutely completely trivial. He has the ability to teleport to another target, which he can kind of designate where that is. He has the ability to turn invisible, and overall that just makes every bit of spy stupidly easy. Alright. Now that we've gotten the arcane codices, I think we have to complete another one for another part of the codices.
Operator, I've been looking into these arcane codices. Did you know the Corpus are in possession of 3 codices, and the Grineer 2?
And now the Tenno have one too. Nobody has ever examined them all together. That's our plan.
The Corpus seem to think they'll lead to some lost Orokin treasure.
Ordo, did you say treasure?
It's Ordis, and while just a theory, it is plausible.
Either way, it's right up my alley.
And as such, once we complete all the Grineer Codice missions, Maru will offer us weekly the opportunity to go after Grineer treasure, which is effectively her main kind of role in Warframe. But we will have to leave getting the rest of the Arcane Codices for next time. So, until then, goodbye.